Hi, my Tubies. It's Sheila Truelove here with you, yes, again today. And I was just listening to something that I heard off of Derek Jackson, who you know I absolutely love. And I have already referred so many people to his channel, because he's incredibly bright. He's amazing, actually. He's one of my favorite people in this whole industry of the YouTube, because I think he's brilliant. And if I was fortunate enough to ever meet someone like this man, that is a blessing. I love the way he thinks. I love the way he feels. I love the way he sees life. I love the way he sees relationships. And this is why you see I'm still dating. Yes, I do date. I don't play games. But this is why you see I'm still in the dating arena, because I am definitely looking for someone similar to this man. This is the man of my dreams. Well, one of the men of my dreams. I also like Matthew Hussey, who is amazing. Oh, God, please. And with that British accent he has. Yes. Anyway, this is something that I was listening to, and it's from a female. And the way she thinks, it's the reason why it's so hard this day and age to find a good man. She's the reason why it's so hard. And there's other things that I want to discuss when it comes to this cheating, and when it comes to making excuses for bad behavior. I just can't wrap my head around this. But anyway, here she goes.
Is by nature polygamous. Monogamy and fidelity are unnatural situations promulgated by religious beliefs and social pressures. Take those away, every man will cheat. It's simply biological. Now let's look at the extra. It's a known fact that women...
So what she just said, if you take away religious boundaries, and you take away any type of law enforcement, and you remove all of those things, is biological in a man's biology, his DNA, if you will, to cheat. This is what she's saying. This is a female from Africa. I can't believe that someone from Africa could think so foolishly. But anyway, this is really hard for really. So she says that if it wasn't for laws, and if it wasn't for religious, you remove those things and all men would cheat. And it's biological, so in other words, it's supposedly okay.
And for the most part are more emotional than men. So it's natural that after a sexual encounter she'll be attached. But because a man is visual and logical in nature, there's no emotion involved. For him, it's just a physical...
So she says, since women are more emotional than men, of course, after they engage in relations with the man, she's automatically attached. Not necessarily, that's not true. And she says, of course, men are visual. So, of course, for them, it's just a physical act, and it's just based on physical, because men are not emotional creatures. In other words, there's no way that a man could ever become emotionally attached to a woman who he had sex with. And I know that's such a fallacy. That's such a lie. I've known men who have fallen in love with prostitutes, honey. After having sex, it's called what? Being whipped?
Release that's got nothing to do with love. A man loves his woman by protecting and providing for her. Period. It's really quite simple. For a man, the physical and the emotional...
The physical and the emotional, two different things. Yeah. A man, he shows his woman by the way he protects her and by the way he provides. I agree with that part. Absolutely. I totally disagree with her when she says that physical and emotional is two different things. That's what has been drummed into women's head for women to believe. I don't believe that for one moment. I also know for a fact that you have a lot of women who, after they have engaged with intimacy with a man, they're not emotionally attached. So she's saying that it's easy for a woman to become attached. Not all women become attached. Not all women. I'm the type that, look, once I open my legs, I open my heart. I'm at that point now because whatever. But there was a time in my life when I was younger, no, I was not attached. In fact, after it was over, I wanted you to leave. That would be a blessing if you would just get up and leave. So not all women are emotionally attached like that. And you do have men who become emotionally attached after sex.
Two separate entities.
So, in case y'all didn't get what she said, in a nutshell.
And now the king speaks. I love him.
She says that it's society's pressure and religious doctrine that says it's wrong for men to cheat and to be polygamous. But we're actually naturally wired that way. Like, we're biologically inclined to have no sexual discipline whatsoever. And to an extent, I agree. But I don't think she's having this conversation in its proper context, because we're naturally wired to do it.
You see? He says, yes, he agrees to some extent. But let's not take this out of context. He's going to bring it home. I love him. I want a man who I can respect. I want a man who I can admire and look up to. That's him. He's a little young for me, though. I wish I could date his father. If his father, I think he's like, what, 34, 35? Maybe he's 37 tops. That's like my son's age. You know what I mean? But, yeah. I love him. Do they have any more men? Any man out there at all? Any man out there at all that sees things the way Derek Jackson sees it? Because if you do, my phone number is right down there. Please feel free. Please. Because this is what I'm looking for. Someone I can look up to. This, to me, is king material. Definitely.
A lot of things, like be thieves. If you know any baby, been around a child, got one of your own, then you know that children take things without asking for permission. They'll snatch it, they'll go steal it behind your back. You have to teach them not to steal and that it's wrong to steal. Or as she says, put societal pressure on them to know that being a thief is wrong. Same thing goes for being lazy. I think we're all naturally wired to want to sit on our ass and chill and relax all day. But guess what? Societal pressure says if we don't get off our ass and grind, then we're going to be broke and we ain't going to have shit. Right? And y'all ain't gotta admit this. Actually, I encourage you not to admit this out loud, but we're naturally murderers. Think about whenever you've been in traffic and somebody cut you off and they almost hit your car on the side that your baby is on. Don't you want to do the absolute worst thing you can possibly do to them? Or if you at work and somebody trying to sabotage your whole livelihood and everything that you ever worked for because they're jealous of you, don't you want to kill them? Don't you want to do something bad to them? Somebody break your...
Is that not a good point? We have these natural things that we're born with naturally. But you know, you have to learn that you have to be taught to exercise discipline and exercise self-control. You know what I mean? I think women also are naturally wired to want to jump on the first thing that she could get her legs wrapped around when she's feeling that way. Because I know there has been times when I was in my office and I was just like, I was like really feeling that way, you know what I mean? Aroused or what have you. And I was like, yo, I want to meet somebody in the conference room, make this happen, or we go downstairs, you know, with the certain areas that I know where we can hide out, make this happen and let it go. And I could just walk away and keep it like that. I'm that type of girl that I can do that, you know? Even though I say like when I open my legs, I open my heart, yeah, at the same time, there are times when I'm ready to be like, yo, let's do this. But because of religious reasons, like God has said, and because of, you know, well, I'm not married, so. But because of religious reasons and because I have a love for God and Jesus Christ, that's not something that you can do. So I think women are naturally wired, if they want to put it like that, that we could go out there and do a quickie too and call it a day. I have a lot of females at my job who they do nooners. And I know those are not their husbands because I've seen their husband. They've had these men come at lunchtime, pick them up, they go to the hotel, they come back talking about how they could barely walk, whoa, this. And I mean, really. There was some times, man, when I thought about it, you know, where I said, you know what, all these women out here having all this fun, man. And that's when I was married. And I was like, please, I want to have me a nooner too. But instead, I turned to my husband. I told him to pick me up and let's just do a noon or whatever. That never transpired. And then see, if I was to go out there and have done that, if it wasn't for spiritual reasons and godly reasons, I wouldn't have been wrong. Because when you're feeling that way, you're supposed to turn to your partner. And when your partner don't accommodate you, who can blame me if I would have went astray? He wasn't taking care of home. But because of my respect for my Heavenly Father, and also respect for myself, to be honest, even though maybe I could still have respect for myself, I could have just hit it and quit it. Really?
Don't you want to kill him? But societal pressure says that that's not okay, and there are consequences if you do that. So it's interesting whenever we get on this conversation of sex and cheating and polygamy, that all of a sudden we don't understand how shape behavior works, and we want to justify everything exclusively for men. And I blame that on the fact that historically as men, we've always been given passes for having sex outside the relationship and being promiscuous, whereas women haven't. And anytime that you're speaking to a privileged group or anybody that subscribes to the mindset of the privileged group about equality and fairness and accountability, it's going to sound like oppression. So that's all that this is. But something else that she said that caught my eye, and when she said that as men, we're not nearly as emotionally wired as women. I know a lot of people say that. Like, a man can have sex with a woman, think nothing of it. It's just a release. Emotions and sex are in two completely different compartments.
Now that's a possibility. It's just a release. For some women, it's just a release too. Because, after a woman has experienced, going to the promised land, she feels this sense of release too. Even though she doesn't need a man to bring that, she can pretty much bring that about herself. So could a man. He could bring about his sense of release. He can relieve himself. He don't necessarily have to be with no woman for that. So that's another point that I'd like to bring out. They say that the men are not emotionally connected when it comes to the sex thing. Well, if that's the case, why don't they just take care of themselves? Why do they have to bring a woman into the picture? Because they want to feel connected. They want to feel that emotional feeling. They want to feel that connection. If that's the case, they could have just went somewhere in the bathroom with their little Vaseline and took care of themselves. Why did you have to bring a woman in the picture? Because it's about feelings.
Now on that, I 100% disagree. I think we're sexually detached whenever it comes to us having sex. I think we can have sex with a woman and think nothing of it, but whenever our woman has sex, we get mighty attached then, and it don't matter what relationship status the woman has sex in. If it's before the relationship, I've seen hella dudes cut off a girl that they...
So you see how he also said that the males can have sex and think nothing of it. Like later on, and they don't think nothing of it. What on earth makes them think that women can't do that? What do you think prostitutes do? Do you honestly believe that these prostitutes are having sex and then they sit around and talk about, oh, how much I loved him, how much I miss him? They don't care nothing about that. He was a jump off, honey. He was dollars. He was dollars. Nothing more, nothing less. There are no emotions.
in love with because she had an extensive sexual history. I've seen dudes prevent themselves from falling in love with a woman that they know had an extensive sexual history. I've seen dudes, God forbid, in a relationship get cheated on. From that point forward, blame everything that they do to every other woman wrong on that one experience of him getting cheated on. No matter how detached that woman was at the time that she had sex. Like, his girl can have sex with a woman or with a dude in a one night drunken stand with a guy, don't even remember his first name afterwards. Like, have no emotional attachment to him whatsoever. That dude is still going to be left in shambles. Her guy is still going to be left in shambles about it. And I've seen dudes that initiated a relationship break in which their girl went ahead and had sex the same way that he did. They were supposed to both be free to do. And he never let it go. He brought it up every other.
You see what he said? Like, you have some couples where they both agreed, let's go, and we're going to have an open relationship. You do you, I do me. And these women are able to do that. They're able to do that. There are so many things that men are learning about women now that we are sexually liberated. There's so many things they thought they knew about women that they don't. Most of these males out here don't even have a clue about women. They really don't. But like he says, you notice how when a woman goes out there and she's ready to get busy and have a jump off and have her little side piece on the side and he finds out about it, he can't handle it. He can't handle it. Because normally when a woman is like, I know for a fact that if I was to sit up here and be with the man sexually or whatever, he's going to be calling me. He's going to want to spend time with me when I'm supposed to be spending time with my partner over here. He's calling me, blowing up my phone. Believe that. Trust and believe. So I'm going to have to take some time away from partner over here, and I'm going to have to go hang out over here.
Conversation, them insecurities were bored so deeply in his mind he couldn't let it go. I've also seen guys, and I think we all have, after they realize after a relationship that their girl is moving on, emotionally or just physically with another man, they come knocking, they come running to come back and get what's theirs. They'll call that woman all kinds of thoughts. She wasn't committed from the beginning. The list goes on. So no, it's not that men are emotionally detached from sex. We're just emotionally detached whenever it's us having sex, even if it's during a relationship that we made a promise to be monogamous in. Funny how that works.
Are you in love with him as much as I am? Love him. So, like, another thing, like they say men, cheating is natural for men. No, it's not. Because when you think about the beginning of time, God created Adam. And he didn't create 3 or 4 women for Adam. He created one woman. So if men are naturally polygamous, if you will, God would have said, you know what, he's naturally, that's in his genes, that's who he is. Let me just make sure that I have 2 or 3 women lined up for him. No. God had one woman for him. One woman. Jehovah God knows how he designed women. We are more than enough to handle, sweetheart. They can't handle one woman. Not really. Like, you know, like I keep stressing, a boy is a burden on you. A man meet all needs. And if a man is meeting all your needs, he can't handle more than one woman. He can't and meet all of her needs. No, he can't. So one woman is a whole lot of work because we are very complicated creatures. Men are very simple. Very simple. Give him some sex, from some food. Let him hang out with the sports over there somewhere, or hang out with his boys. Give him some freedom to go hang out with his boys, fishing, billiards, do whatever the heck he do. They're very simple creatures. Women, we are so much more complicated. And we're complicated because God created us to be a man's helper. So there's so much more to us. There's so much more that we have to keep focusing on, and our wheels got to be turning. We got to be on point, and we have to whatever, because I'm going to be a helper to him. I have to be on point. So when he feels at an all-time low, we know how to step it up. We're already mentally prepared. I already know how to handle the situation when my king is down. The queen steps up. Okay? So, tell me what you think. You always have a choice. And for the males out here who really think you know women, no, you don't, sweetheart. No, you don't. And a lot of these men out here, they have never even been with a woman. They've been with zombies. They've never been with a woman. So when they do finally get into a relationship with a woman, they don't even know how to handle her. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to be a man, meet all needs, because they've never been with a woman. Zombies. You always have a choice. This is Sheila True Love. Loving you as always. Until next time, we'll talk again.